Ladies and gentlemen, this is Colin Dean here at CES 2013 at the Crucial booth. We're going to speak with Jeremy about what's going on with Crucial's DDR. Jeremy?
Today we're doing our first real-world live demo of DDR4. So late this year in 2013 you'll start to see the first DDR4 modules introduced in the market. We have an Intel development system. We're running an ECC 8GB UDIMM. It's a DDR4 module using Micron components, running at 2133 megahertz. We have it connected to an interposer board. It's actually in the slot. Runs down across to the Teledyne LaCroix protocol analyzer. What we're able to capture and show is actual read writes. We're really running DDR4 here today. It's really running at 2133 megahertz. Just some activity on the screen. So it's really that first look at what's coming late this year and into next year, and then mainstream in 2015. We also have an infographic that kind of goes through the history of DRAM, where we started, or at least DDR, where we started in 2002 with DDR. 2007 we were at DDR3. We're running 1066 megahertz at launch, 1 gigabit parts that were 1 to 2 gigabyte modules. And now with DDR4 we're going to get some benefits of, one of the primary ones is efficiency. So at those higher speeds, introducing at 2133 we'll have 1.2 volts, so much more power savings. It's going to give you lower temperatures, better battery life, especially in a lot of those mobile and portable devices where that's important. And then the last benefit is going to be capacity. The spec goes up to 16 gigabit, which allows us to get potentially a 32 gigabyte single desktop module. So you can figure in a few years, capacity is going to increase, or placements in these portable devices, you can use fewer components to get to higher densities. The speed is also much higher. We're going to introduce it at 2133, but the spec goes up to 3200. We expect 2133 to be pretty mainstream, and then with the Ballistics brand, 3000 and plus going into 2014, 2015 at that high end of the spec. The other unique feature, we have kind of a display showing previous technologies in their slots. One thing that people are kind of interested in is the physical differences here. And if you take a look at the bottom edge, it's hard to capture on the camera here, but the bottom edge, we're going from 240 pins on DDR3 desktop to 284 pins. And one of the biggest support questions we get, and in solutions is, hey, reinsert your memory, you haven't pressed hard enough, because it does take a little force to install it. With additional pin count, they've actually changed the curve on that bottom. It's not completely flat, so the center pins actually spread apart first, a little easier insertion force, and then you lock the rest of the module in. So again, DDR4 coming the end of 2013. You get the benefits of all that better power efficiency, reducing voltage and power. The speed increases starting at 2133 going up to 3200 on the spec. And then lastly you get that increased density. So just that natural progression over this last decade, going with DDR4, and you're seeing it live for the first time here at CES 2013 from Crucial.
And you said one of the really good benefits of DDR4 is this 20% decrease in the voltage between DDR3 and DDR4, and we're destined to see much better battery life out of our devices because of that, right?
Absolutely. At a high level it's that voltage difference, but internally in the parts the engineers have put a lot of hooks and dials, if you will, to really change performance and power consumption. It's really important, especially maybe not so much on a high-end desktop, but server farms reducing power, mobile devices on maybe an SODIMM or into a smartphone, tablets and things. The developers, Micron engineers, the engineers that are developing these products can trade performance for power and reduce. 1.2 is the spec, but today, like with DDR3, we have a lower, 135 and even slightly lower. We expect DDR4 to be even probably less, right? Some ultra low voltage DDR4 that really allows them to reduce that power consumption, because everybody wants longer battery life and not have a huge device or battery pack or carrying around extra devices to recharge their device all the time. Yeah, there's things internal to part to reduce refresh states. DDR3, it may have taken more refresh to hold a 0, for instance, where they can do some tweaks internally to the part to where for power states, and there's a lot of engineering documentation on Micron site that talks about power consumption and what they're doing to improve it and make it better, just so that there are these opportunities for developers and partners to really reduce power, better efficiency, and still get that high-end performance out of the part and speed.
Hey, what we're announcing today is the new Crucial M500. It's a new SSD based on our 20 nanometer, 128 gigabit NAND part. But the real news is that we hit a terabyte class SSD now for under $600. It comes, we're basically, the 2.5 now is a 7mm device. We'll have a bracket that'll allow people to convert this to 9.5mm as well. So it covers anything that you need. You'll just need to know that you have a 2.5-inch drive. The other part of the M500 is these modules, really designed for the new ultra-thin devices that are out there. So today, you'll see a lot of the M SATA that's out there, but they're capped at about 256 gigabytes. Our new M500 will now have 0.5 terabyte of NAND storage on these devices. The newest form factor is the M.2. M.2 is really the next generation for ultra-thins. Today it's SATA, but we'll be moving to PCI Express as well. And again, 0.5 terabyte of storage on these devices. Some of the other things we've built into all of this is really to help continue with the quality and reliability that we have. So on our drives is a thermistor and a microcontroller. What that does is it's going to monitor the temperature of the drive when it's in one of those really thin and light notebooks. If it gets above 65 C, it'll reduce its temperature down, it'll reduce its NAND activity and power activity until it gets back down to 55 C. Basically ensuring that the drives stay at the state that they are, very high quality without any type of issues happening with them. The other thing on this are little capacitors. The capacitors are built in here. You would probably have seen these only on enterprise drives up to this point, but really what it does is it allows for enough power on that if you unexpectedly lost power on your notebook, it gives it time to write the additional data back down to the NAND. So there's no loss of data. So it's another protection method with some of our drives.
What are some of the capacities that these are going to be coming in, and why are they kind of weirder numbers?
Yeah, sure. On the 2.5-inch drive, it'll be a 120, 240, 480, and 960. What we do is we use some of the NAND that's on the drive to make sure that the drive stays and performs optimally. So it's doing things in the background like garbage collection, error correction, making sure that the drive stays at a quality state that you would expect it to and the performance levels that you want it to stay at. On the module versions, we'll start at 120, we'll have a 240 and also 480 as well. Our 2.5-inch will be available in the February timeframe. The modules will follow on about 30 to 45 days after.
And pricing will become available as they become available.
As we get to shipping, we'll make pricing available. But what you'll see us continue to do is we've now hit these aggressive price points with MLC, which really competes against TLC product in the marketplace.
Well, that's great, Rob. Having a terabyte drive for under $600 is certainly going to change how people are able to store things on their mobile devices and be able to keep more high-quality video and whatnot to keep them entertained, long flights, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Great new product.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. This was Colin Dean with ThinkComputers here at CES 2013.